Well, hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of The Spotlight. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a very exciting day. We've rebranded The Spotlight, all new look, all new feel, but the same premise as always. This is a space for online entrepreneurs to explain who they are, what they do, and how they can help you navigate the chaos and confusion this pandemic is causing. And maybe even after the pandemic is over as well. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor today, Jason Curtis with Bonvera. Jason sent me a couple of samples last week, a couple weeks ago actually, and I've been taking the magnesium supplements that he sent me. Man, my ability to focus is amazing. By all means, use the link and visit Jason's site over at Bonvera and see what might be there for you. All right, let me introduce you, please, to today's guest. I am super excited to have this man on my show because many of the people that I associate with in Dr. Rob Garcia's success engineers, especially, including myself, have looked to this man for the wisdom that he can share in a no shit way to create relationships among the people that we network with so that we actually are making a how do I want to put this, a direct impact on the community that we are involved in. So without any further ado, please help me welcome Mr. Steve Sims, the author of BlueFishing. Thank you so much for joining me today, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's my honor. Let's start with congratulations. It's been 3 years since you published BlueFishing. How has this been, this ride for the last 3 years?
Shocking. Shocking. Absolutely. There's no other word for it. When the book came out, I already had a very successful consulting and marketing company within the concierge world. The book I did that I wanted to get people out of their own way and get them to realize that there's me, a bricklayer from East London that's now working with Elton John and Elon Musk. If I can be doing it, you're already out of excuses. So I did the book, but the funny thing was I actually thought deep down, truthfully, and like all entrepreneurs, we have this doubt. I truthfully believed no one would buy it. I wanted to get it out there. I wanted to impact one person. I wanted to give one person permission to do things differently. We didn't even have a website for it, just a link to an Amazon. We literally had a one-pager. 3 years later, we just checked before I came on. We're number 9 in the educational books, just under Sun Tzu. So we're just stunned at how it's actually morphed into the monster that it actually is. And I'm very excited, scared and excited.
Well, that's amazing. Scared and excited. You brought to mind, a friend of mine used to say, it's okay to have butterflies. The key is making them fly in formation, right? So
Well
they're kind of the same thing if you have the right mindset for it. So, God, 3 years in, you're at number 9. Has this been a slow, steady build all the way through, or did it start slowly, late bloom?
It was
How was your path?
weird. So I've got to and I'm going to direct you to a video which will validate how little we put behind it. And I don't want to get cocky, but I believe with all of the fantastic gadgets and gizmos and editing and filters, any ugly pig can look beautiful now with an iPhone filter. Hell, I could look attractive with an iPhone filter. But we didn't put any of that behind it. So when the book came out, I literally was sent $2,500 by my publisher, Simon Schuster, to take over a table in Barnes & Noble, buy champagne, and sign copies for people on a Saturday afternoon. Now, I had spent 25 years working for billionaires around the world as probably the most connected unknown guy you'll ever meet. I also, let's be serious, I'm not built to be warm and fuzzy. You don't look at me in the street and go, there's a guy I want to go and hug. So the idea of me having a table at Barnes and Noble to sign copies of the book was just ridiculous. So I phoned up a bunch of friends, and I have some pretty cool friends. I believe you are the combination of the people you hang out with. So I only hang out with stellar people. And I literally went to a whiskey bar in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard that I always go to. And I said, look, I'll sign the check over to you. When it runs out, turn the lights up and kick us out. And that's what we did. Now,
Nice.
there was a couple in there, Cole and Sonia Hatter, who run a massive event called Thrive in Vegas. She's a little bit devious. She actually got someone with a little camera to interview people and then develop this beautiful video. It's on stevedsims.com. On the front page, there's a video. I don't care if you subscribe. I'm not telling you for this, but watch the video, because for one, they did a beautiful video using my best tune ever. But you'll see the beginning of the video, everyone's sober, saying very articulate, nice things about me, and then just steadily getting more abusive and drunk as the night goes on.
Nice.
And to answer your question, apologize for the long-winded route. When we released the page, it was a static page with a couple of pictures, carefully formed, of me with, who's who, and the Amazon link. There was no feeling to it. There was no depth. Mm-hmm. So we actually got told off by our publishers that we needed to put more effort into the promotion of this book, because they paid me very well up front. And so I thought, I'm going to stick this video up there. People are either going to relate to me and connect, or it's going to repel and aggravate. But either way, it would be one of those two. So we put the video up, and for the first couple of months, we were bubbling. We were bubbling at sales. When you've got a brand behind you like Simon Schuster, you can't help but sell a few copies. But seriously, they weren't buying me a house on the beach. And so, the third month came along just after we released this video, and it hockey sticked.
Nice.
All of a sudden, people could go, okay, I see him, I hear him. Now, bearing in mind, it doesn't help when you got Jim Quick and Caleb Maddox and Greg Reed and Lewis Howells and Cole Hatter and all these other people that are there saying nice things. That doesn't help. That doesn't hurt me. But it doesn't help. But it just took off because of that. So it's uncanny when you reveal who you are. As I say, you either attract or you repel, and both of those responses are beautiful.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%, but I'm going to ask you to tell us why. Why are both of those responses beautiful and useful knowledge when you're building a business?
Well, absolutely. The downside is, I believe you're a battery. Just like your iPhone, you look at it, and when the battery's depleted, you recharge it. Your battery, you should be spent all of your energy on being you and becoming the solution to someone else's problem. If you are spending any of that battery power on being someone that you are not, or conforming to meet a certain audience, or trying to become an alter ego to get in front of an audience that really can't resonate with you and you have no relatability with you, sooner or later, it will wear out. And sooner or later, you'll be very, very tired. But I noticed something very early on in my life. It takes zero effort to be me. Now I've got 100% on being what I do, what impact I create, who I am. And it saves me and you all the time in the world. If you're watching this, listening to this, or if I've lost you already, that's fine. No disrespect. I'm not hurt. It didn't work, but I'm not going to sell myself out to attract you. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
I agree 100%. 100%. Yeah. I just love the way that you come across, though. And, at the risk of committing the host faux pas of disagreeing with my guest, I just got to put this in here. You look like a biker, okay?
I am.
But don't for 1 second think that you don't look like the cuddliest teddy bear out there. And take it from a mom of 2 girls who trained her little ones growing up. If you are ever alone and in trouble, look for a guy that looks like a biker, because he will protect you.
Yeah, but look, I always believe, people are better on two wheels, but then I am slightly biased on that. But thank you very much. But I think a lot of it is, I don't know, it's come with time. But I remember even when I was throwing parties, just to give people a bit of context, I'm the guy that helped put the first civilian in space. I've sent people down to the Titanic. People have wanted to get married in the Vatican by the Pope, a drum lesson by Guns N' Roses. I was the Make-A-Wish Foundation for billionaires. If you had a big checkbook, I could make it happen. But I never stopped wearing a black T-shirt and never stopped turning up at people's places on a motorcycle. So I would be stood in the back. You'll be amazed at how many times there's been a party in Poland or in an apartment in Monaco. I've been in the corner with my old-fashioned black T-shirt, and people have literally given me their keys to their car because they thought I was part of the ballet, or spoken to me as though I'm part of the security detail.
I would believe that 100%.
I'm absolutely fine with it. So it's just made me giggle. And now that I've kind of, I don't know, exposed myself 3 years down the line, like we've got a Facebook group called An Entrepreneur's Advantage with Steve Sims. It's a free thing, and we've started building on it. And I think about a week ago, we were like 1,500 people in it. Mm-hmm. And I literally just went, we've got 1,500. If you know any cool kids, let them know. We're like 2,400 now, and it's just growing. So it may start off small, but if you stick to who you are, that's when the snowball effect will come in.
Isn't that phenomenal stuff? We can't belabor this point enough. The authenticity is what attracts the people that should be working with you. And the authenticity also does repel the people who are not your tribe. And in one of the development programs that I've been a lurker in over the years, one of the things that they say is, go ahead and judge me. That's $5,000 in my bank account every time you do. Because, you know how it is. Bad publicity is just as, and sometimes even more viral than good publicity. But it can seem bad to some people, but to the right people, it doesn't. Right?
Yeah. There's a friend of mine, Joe Polish. He said to me, there is a difference between being easy to understand and impossible to misunderstand. And that works well in your favor. Again, you don't want to spend all of your days filtering through the people that you can't connect with. Just communicate with those that are still in the party. So if you put music on that no one likes and they leave, great. The three that are left, they're your people. So, and here's the other thing people don't realize. I run the world's largest experiential concierge firm. I now run the marketing and branding for entrepreneurs and coaches all over the place. The bottom line of it is that at my peak within the concierge firm, I had 93 clients. 93. Now, people hear that word and they go, you could never run a business of 93 people. McDonald's would go bankrupt. Most companies would. But when they're billionaires, you only need 4 and you're absolutely fine. So the point is, are you focusing on the quantity of the clientele that you attract, or are you focusing on the quality? And that's where your focus should be. I want to look after less people that are willing to make more impact and have the ability to do more. That's my cream that I go for.
That's phenomenal. Now, tell us a little bit about the other activities that you also have got on. Like you said, beyond being, Make-A-Wish to the billionaires, you've also got Steve Sims Distillery, right? Now, I know you're not making alcohol over there. What are you distilling?
So I want to make, I don't want this to be an advert. Okay, so I want anyone, because I know you have impact, I know you care about your tribe. So let's make sure it benefits them on this explanation. I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. I've worked with Elon Musk and the Pope, but I had no idea about this thought leader influencer world, nor did I want to be in it with a bunch of other fakes and flakes. So I was very concerned when people were asking me after reading the book, is there any way that we can continue the growth? So we started building this small community, and we actually made the first faux pas. We built a course, and we put this course up there, And we were trying to find ways to bring it in. And people know I like motorcycles and old fashions and whiskey. So a distillery finds the best elements of all the ingredients to make the best bottle. So it made sense to me that as a distillery, an entrepreneur is pulling those best parts of you to make you a better entrepreneur. So we called it simsdistillery.com, and we launched a course, and it was sadly successful. But it was a 16 video course. It's like, as a friend of mine, JJ, said, it's like the diet book pandemic. People buy a diet book and think just by buying the book, they're going to lose weight. They don't impact it. They don't utilize it. They don't action it. And I didn't like throwing a course out there and go, here you go, knock yourself out, go in the wind. So we actually took that and we changed it from being a course to my inner circle. So now we do live AMAs. I get experts coming. So it's a regular thing that we do. And now it's become my inner tribe. And if someone wants to communicate with me and people like Jay Abraham, Jeffrey Madoff, Harvey Meisel, Jim Quick, they join Sims Distillery and we run these AMAs, Ask Me Anything, twice a month, where they get to speak with absolutely experts in their field on whatever it is. Again, that took off. But then something else came out of it, which I think may kind of fascinate and make you go, are you kidding? Today's currency is credibility. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I wondered, did I have any? So what I actually did was I decided to focus on testing myself. And a lot of people won't test that credibility. A lot of people kind of want to avoid that conversation. Mm-hmm. But I actually put out that I was going to do a 2-day event somewhere in Carlsbad, because a friend of mine had a big house down there, and it was $2,000. Okay. Click here to purchase. No information. I didn't want to tell you who was turning up because I didn't know. I didn't want to tell you where it was going to be because I didn't want to give the guy's house address away. But I really wanted to find out, testing myself, how little information I can give and how many people I can attract with it. So bottom line of it is, am I credible enough for you to give me $2,000 with no questions asked? You know? And we did well. Our first event, I think we had about 26 people. And I thought, wow, yeah. So what we did was and I'm telling you this because I want everyone listening to try it with your community. Anyone that paid, and we had a lot of people going, can you tell me where it is? No. Can you tell me who's going to be there? No. Can you tell me what I'm going to learn? No. And of course, they didn't buy tickets. But anyone that did, they would immediately get a phone call from us and go, hey, Roger, you know, I see you just signed up for Steve's. And the first one was actually called a beanbag mastermind because there was no chairs in the house. So we were going to rent all these beanbags. So it was called the Beanbag Mastermind. But we hadn't titled it as that yet. It was just the event, the date, the date, the location, Carlsbad, Southern California, and purchase here. And so we got these people sign up and we would say, hey, you've just signed up for an event that you have no idea about. And they went, yeah. We'd say, okay, what's your problem? And that was it. We literally just said to them, what's your problem? And people would be like, well, I'm looking at writing a book, or I'm trying to scale more in a digital world, or I'm trying to pivot to an online, or I'm trying to pivot to a bricks and mortar, or I want to get deeper relationships. But you know, the funny thing is, they gave me the ingredients I needed to give them a wonderful event. So anyone that was asking, was telling me what the problem was, I would then flip through my Rolodex for, you know, anyone over the age of 20 who remembers what a Rolodex is. But I would flick through all my contact list. I'd go, okay, hey, can you come to Carlsbad? I want you to kind of discuss how to do videos. I want you to discuss how to launch a podcast. I want you to discuss how to get more media. And I would bring them down. So no one knew who was going to be there. But I guaranteed, and that's always a tough thing when you do it, but I guaranteed right at the beginning, I've listened to every one of your problems, and they're going to be answered before you leave this room tomorrow. And it did well. So we're on our 10th, and we've got it in San Diego, and it's called Sim Speakeasy at simspeakeasy.com. And I'm urging you to try this for your community because it will reveal a lot. We went from 26 people to, I think it was 68. And we realized 68 was too many to be personal. So we cap it off at 40 now. 40 is our hot spot. And we just recently did it. There was a little gap. You may remember this in COVID, where all of a sudden the world started opening up again just before it closed down again.
Yep.
Right in the middle of that, we actually had our date in Nashville. So we feel as though it was like the parting of the waves that was done just for us. So we all went to Nashville, did the 2-day speakeasy, then came back and we closed down again. But we've done them this year. We've only done 2 this year because of COVID. We did it in Vegas and Nashville. Last year, we did it in Reno, New York, and San Francisco, Silicon Valley. And I always bring in some very strange people to help answer their problems. But it tested my credibility. And also you get, and the day one, whenever I'm in front of everyone, I always say to them, every single one of you has paid $2,000 to be here. And I can't let you down because I haven't promised you anything. It's a fantastic place. I could literally have us drawing pictures with crayons for the next 2 days, and I've not promised you any different. But the funny thing is, internally, you want to make sure they go home with at least 10 grand's worth of value than the $2,000 it cost them. And I've got a lot of repeats, but I do suggest anyone out there, check your credibility. You may think your branding, your advertising, your marketing is all fantastic, but check your credibility because that's the truth sayer there.
Nice. That is an absolutely brilliant strategy that reveals exactly what you're saying that it reveals. It's amazing. That's awesome stuff. Now, do you, because of, the everything shutting back down again, are you even considering pivoting the speakeasy into an online type of thing? Or are you just going to wait it out until everything's good again to actually get together in the same space?
Yeah, the speakeasy can't be an online.
Okay.
Because the speakeasy, I need your full engagement. Just the fact that you turn up to a location and you've paid $2,000 to be there makes you uncomfortable. And I want people to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's the butterfly aspect what you were talking about earlier so well. So you can't do that virtually when you're sitting there with your cup of coffee and your dog on your feet. So you need to be in an environment full of other people that are also just as uncomfortable looking around at each other going, what the hell are we doing? Where are we? Because I've taken people to the rooftop of Louis Vuitton. I've taken them into Frank Sinatra's music studio. I've taken them to prison. I've taken them to a brothel in Nevada. I've taken them inside Elon Musk's Gigafactory and Tesla plant. So they don't know they're going to these places, but I put them in places to get them a new perspective. And you can't do that virtually. So no, I will never do a speakeasy online. They've all got to be an in-person situation.
Gotcha. That does, you bring up an excellent point, because isn't it that space of not knowing or not being in your familiarity that gives access to creating something that never happened before or never seemed possible before?
Oh, absolutely. Because success never comes from being comfortable. Success comes from when things failed, when they go wrong, when you're nervous, where you're kind of on that edge element. So when you get a bunch of people that are all just as uncomfortable in a room, not only does it spur them to have the best receptive, because they're very receptive. How many people, I can actually tell a story about this. There's a realtor in Vegas, and I was doing an event in Vegas, a speakeasy, and at the same time was Grant Cardone's event. Now, my event's $2,000 for 2 days. Grant's was $500 for 2 days. And Grant's told you where it was going to be, who was going to be on stage. It gave you a definite schedule of what was going to go on. And the guy turned around to me and he said, I'm joining yours for 4 times the price, and I know 10 times less because I want to be uncomfortable, because that's where the growth is. What you've also got to bear in mind is that while I bring great people in front of you to teach you, just by you being one of those kind of people to want to grow and attend and being that hungry that you're gambling and investing on yourself means that the people left and right of you can now be your allies. We've got so many relationships and businesses that have been formed by the people in the room. So I As an old doorman, I learned this trick. See, being a big fella, I don't like fighting. I just don't. I was going to say no one likes fighting, but MMA, maybe they do. But I don't like getting into a punch-up. But I was built to be a doorman of nightclubs. So in my earlier years, when I was working on the door, the people that own the club want to let anyone in to buy the beer, okay? The people on the door, they've only got one job. That's to run in there and start dancing with people and throwing fists and things. That's not fun. So what I started doing was controlling the front door. And if I saw people kind of stumbling as they were walking towards the club, I wouldn't let them in. Mm-hmm. If I saw them with a bit too much ego, I wouldn't let them in. Now, the managers of the club used to yell at me, but I always said, as a doorman, if I can control who comes through the front door, I remove 99% of the problems that happen inside. Mm-hmm. If I let that couple come in that have had a few beers and they're a little bit obnoxious, they start fighting. None of your attendees want to come again because there was a fight. I've now got blood all down me and I'm now swinging around. I don't want to be doing that. So as a doorman, I always learned control your front door. As a business owner now, doing events, doing a whole community, doing my coaching, control who comes through the front door, and you remove 99% of the problems once inside.
That is brilliant. Wonderful analogy. That I really see how that can work well. That's phenomenal. So let me kind of circle back around to BlueFishing for a second here. There are people that I look to for coaching, mentoring, guidance that talk about you like as if you're a demigod, right? Oh my God, Steve said this, right? Now, give me just a general overview of what our audience might find if they choose to go today and buy a new copy of BlueFishing.
Going to aggravate you. It's going to aggravate and it's going to annoy you because it's going to reveal to you all the things that you should be doing that somewhere along the line, your intelligence kicked in and told yourself that you didn't need to do it anymore. So it's always amazing that people will buy a pill. If you just say to someone, hey, if you do this fitness regime for the next 8 months, you'll be able to do a triathlon, then people go, well, that's a lot of effort and energy. But if over here I say, here's a tablet for $1,000 and you can do a triathlon tomorrow, you'll be amazed at how many tablets you'll sell. People don't want to put the effort and energy in it. But the funny thing is, it's that effort and energy that builds that stability and strength of relationships, connectivity, communication. If you pay attention to that, you can't go broke. See, the bottom line of it is now, everything we have can be replaced probably by Amazon until it comes down to our relationships. And it's those relationships that allow you to work with people, help people, solve their problems. We don't sell anymore, we solve. So if you are the solution to someone's problem, just find the people that you are the solution to. And so I'm a great believer that if you grab the book or just, listen to the audio or listen to the podcast, whatever, the bottom line of it is it's giving you permission and direction to start doing stuff that you used to do and not try to follow the herd mentality. If I can work with the Pope by simply sending him a postcard, which was how I first did it, you're stood there trying to send out emails. A prime example, you go to someone in your team and you'll say, hey, I'm trying to get hold of someone, reach out to them. And they go, yeah. The following day you go, hey, did you connect with them? Did you communicate with them? And they go, yes, I sent them an email. Well, guess what? That's not communication. That's standing on the top of a car park, throwing a piece of paper off, saying, call me, and hoping it lands in the right hand. It's not accurate. So what I do is I do what I call ugly marketing. Ugly, raw, simplistic, and impactful. And here's the beautiful thing, 9 times out of 10, cheap. Give you an example that any of your people can use. So I travel a lot, okay? But even if you don't travel, go down to your local hotel, okay? Not the Embassy Suites or the Motel 6. Go down to a nice hotel, get in there for a cup of coffee, walk up to the front desk and say that you're going to be doing a couple of letters. Can I have some hotel stationery? They give that stuff away for free, okay? Because they want you marketing that hotel. Write the note on there saying, Gail, we have to chat. When's a good time for us to talk? Text me on, when you put the number in there, you sign it, handwrite the envelope, post it. The only thing it's cost you is the postage stamp. Now, here's the thing. We get 4 billion emails a day. How many times by accident have we deleted an email that we really wanted to read? Okay. How many times has your provider, your mail program, whether it be Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, Hotmail, whatever, how many times have they detected that they think it may be adult or it may be inappropriate or it may be whatever, and that spam guard filters it and you don't even get it? Mm-hmm. But the beautiful thing is, if you got an envelope from the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, Denver, and it's handwritten, you're inquisitive. Inquisitive minds are receptive. Now, if you think about this, if I may pick on you for a second.
Oh, please, go right ahead.
All right, so let's play the game. How many fingers does it take to delete an email?
1.
How many fingers does it take to open up an envelope?
10. Both hands. That's brilliant.
I've got your complete engagement. You can't be doing anything when you're opening up a letter. Now, here's the beautiful thing. I've got you curious because it's a handwritten letter. It's got stationery on it from a hotel, which gets over is this a bill from the power or water or my AT&T? You're looking at this going, who do I know at that hotel? Bottom line of it is you don't know anybody, but there's you use these envelopes, and that when they're touching it, if you get a good hotel, and that's why I say get a good hotel, their paper's textured. So I've now got your inquisitive, I've got your touch on this beautiful paper, I've got your engagement because it's both hands holding on that envelope, and then I've got the sound, the audible of you actually, so you are actioning something. Mm-hmm. Like when you pull your arm down on a slot machine, you're opening up a letter. When you open up a letter that's been handwritten and it's not a bill, you're excited. Yes. You're receptive, you're inquisitive, and you're excited. What a better mental mindset for you to be in when you get a little letter from me going, hey, Gail, we should chat. Please text me on this number. I've got something to chat with you about. Mm-hmm. And the amount of people that actually reach out to me and go, I got you a letter. And they always say the same thing. Why don't you just send me an email? And I'll say, the bottom line of it is, when was the last time you got someone phone you up going, oh, thank you very much for your email? Right. It doesn't happen. They usually just reply to the email. But when they've got the letter, they feel as though you went above and beyond and all it cost you was a stamp.
Wow.
And those are one of the little things that we go over in the book. We go over loads of silly little things that I've done that works for me, that quite simply work. And that's what's in the book.
That's freaking brilliant. Well, I want to take another opportunity to congratulate you again, not just on the success of BlueFishing and your 3-year anniversary, but the success of your impact on the people in this community, on the planet, that are starting to understand that success doesn't mean you just throw money at a thing. You got to show up. You got to be part of it. You have to be present to be part of the community. So thank you so much for the work that you do. My audience, please follow the links. They're all available in the comments section or the description up above. And I truly hope that you get as much out of BlueFishing as I and my community have as well. Once again, Steve, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
When you open yourself up to actual energy work, makes that recovery progress so much faster. That recovery is possible. You do not have to live as a victim until your last days. You have unbelievable strength, and I know that because you're still here. Do you want to create something completely unrecognizable with your life? I can show you how.